The crowd has gathered for a special night. It's almost like one of their own is returning, a champion. See, Matt Birk went to St. Thomas Academy early in his life, before transferring to Cretin-Derham Hall. But the two are interconnected, not just because they represent Catholic schools, because much of the student body grew up like Birk did, in the neighborhoods of St. Paul. Those streets and those homes tell stories of successful children raised by parents who cared a lot.
It's a neighborhood. People that are from there, their parents are from there, they grew up there. There's a lot of history. There's just a lot of pride that goes along with growing up there.
See, these are the streets roamed by people like Joe Mauer and Paul Molitor and Dave Winfield and Matt Birk. But there was no sense of entitlement, not if you were born here.
I was never the guy I picked first for anything. Never had a trophy. Never even thought about playing on a traveling team. And actually in the NFL, that's a lot of guys' stories. It's kind of the old talent versus discipline type of thing. I look back, you see a lot of guys in junior high or high school who were just really gifted, had a lot of talent, and that's what got them by. But they didn't develop any kind of work ethic to go along with it. I was just the opposite. I loved sports. I wanted to play. I just wanted to make the team.
What he had, he did not realize. Passion, attitude, and character. 3 traits that have served him well since his parents instilled them so deep into his soul that they are almost on demand without thinking about it.
Doesn't matter where you come from or what you do, or there's certain things that you can have. You can choose what kind of life that you want to lead, regardless of
independent of material.
Independent.
The life he has chosen involves family, football, and most importantly, a faith.
That's where it all starts. That's where it all starts, and that's a lot of things. But I think it starts with being humble, realizing that I'm third. It's God, and then my wife and kids, and then me.
A faith that was somewhat tested when he went away to Harvard to play football. He was a freshman when he came home for Christmas break and told his parents he would not return. He did, and when he got back to campus, he got a letter from his dad.
We didn't get into a huge discussion, but when I told them I didn't want to go back, they just kind of said, no, you're going to go back. And I did. And then a couple weeks later, I got a letter from my dad talking about how here I was at a pretty good university, playing football, going to school. And they didn't tell me that, but I knew they were sacrificing a lot for me to go there. I wasn't on scholarship or anything like that. And he told me when he was my age that he got a trip to Vietnam, an unwanted trip to Vietnam. And that was just a great perspective.
It is that faith that allowed him to just compete and not worry about results, but controlling the controllables.
I just played for the right reasons. My parents, no matter what it was always focused on effort. That's all they ever cared about. And I was slow, I was weak, I was bad, but never played on one traveling team in my entire life. And truthfully, never got one trophy.
The trophy he helped win is the Lombardi Trophy, a Super Bowl champion with the Baltimore Ravens. What he learned playing the game was that there can be joy in your work every day, in your quest for greatness. They don't enjoy the wins nearly as much as the losses hurt.
You're right, and you have to be reminded. It's good to sit around once in a while and just kind of say, give thanks for the success that you've had, and just take a little sigh and recognize that, because it can eat you up.
And so when he hung up the cleats, he took all those nuggets he had gained and authored a book.
It's more important than my career, because, as I say, we're all just people. We all go through the same things. We all want the same things. We're a lot more alike than we are different. And I was fortunate that I was in situations, and there were people around me that helped me.
And he speaks to groups like the St. Thomas Academy Father-Son Banquet to remind them what can be done, what is possible, what he has been able to do with the right fundamentals. To Matt Birk, what is the definition of a great attitude on a daily basis?
Well, I'd say it's an attitude of humility, with the mindset that every day, no matter what you're talking about, you can get better.
The kid who grew up in St. Paul and went on to anchor an offensive line for the Minnesota Vikings, then win a Super Bowl, has grown up. To understand, his wife and 6 children have a place in front of him on his depth chart. And it is this wisdom of a life well lived he wants to pass along to the next kid who doesn't make the traveling team.
Sometimes we're brought up or raised thinking that, you know exactly what you're going to do. You're going to do this, and then you're going to live happily ever after. That's not.
Put the white picket fence up and the
2.5
rest is easy.
kids. Yeah, that doesn't happen. It's okay not to know. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to be unsure. It's okay to make mistakes. It's actually pretty good to make mistakes. It's okay to look foolish. We've all been there.
And on this night at St. Thomas Academy High School, they are treated to a quick seminar in just that there is a price to be paid for a well-lived life, but that it's worth it. To run the race with a purpose, that's Matt Birk.
And again, it's not about the destination or the result. It's about the journey.
Life to the Max is brought to you by Life Touch, photography for a lifetime.